So you're sick of social media and you're looking for a meaningful marketing platform that will help you with sustainable long-term growth? Well, Pinterest might just be the platform for you. Today we're going to dive into the top 3 most important things that go along with your Pinterest marketing strategy, as well as some big but exciting updates that go with Pinterest going into 2025. But before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Hi, my name is Farris. I'm a Pinterest marketing expert and educator, and I have been doing this professionally for 9 years. However, I've been an avid Pinterest user since the platform was launched in 2010. I'm also a vetted educator working directly with Pinterest, educating inside of their creator communities in 2024 and going into 2025. Not only teaching their communities how to use Pinterest in a more strategic way, but sharing my own experiences on the platform in the last 9 years. This is my only gig. I know the platform inside and out. So you can trust me. A little word of warning before we dive into our 3 things, just very quickly, I promise it'll be fast. This video is not meant to be the nitty-gritty of everything you need to know about Pinterest marketing going into 2025. It is meant to be an overview. It is meant to be a snapshot. It is meant to educate and inform you about the ins and outs of this platform and what's new, what's old, and what you can expect. If you need more details on specific aspects of what I talk about in this video, I would encourage you to visit my channel, the full channel, and look in the video lineup, because chances are I have a full video on every single thing I talk about in this one. I promise you, in all of the years and all of the hours I have spent learning, using, and educating on this platform, there is no way you can learn everything in less than a half hour. What is Pinterest and how does it impact your business? Well, Pinterest is a hybrid visual discovery platform. It is a little bit of search, a little tiny smidge of social media, and a whole lot of commerce these days. From inspiration to searching for their next find on Pinterest, to putting things in their shopping carts and actually checking out, and sharing ideas with other people that they enjoy to create and collaborate with, pinners on Pinterest are doing everything in between the sun of search, social, and commerce. Pinterest is a place for you if you are a creator, a curator, a brand, an agency, a publisher, and more. Now, obviously, before you just get started on Pinterest and start pinning to your little heart's content for your business, there are 3 really big things that you need to know. And within each of those 3 things, I'm going to go really deep and really wide, and we're going to talk about them. Thing number 1 is Pinterest is not a secondary platform, and you've probably heard me say this in the past if you are an avid watcher of this channel. Pinterest is a strategic asset for your business. In fact, it is such a powerhouse machine for evergreen search-friendly content that over 60% of saves in a recent Tailwind study were on pins that were over a year old, and over 40% of recent saves were on pins that were 2 or more years old. Your top pins can actually continue to drive engagement and traffic and sales to your website for years to come, including things that I've noticed in my own business, within my agency, with my clients, within my paid membership group, for my students, and more. We have noticed this for years, so this recent study from Tailwind is obviously no surprise here. Pinterest is a full funnel platform. So if you are looking for a place to market your business from awareness all the way to action or purchase, then this platform is definitely one for you, especially if your audience is on it. With over 537 million active monthly users, you'll find millennials and Gen Z on this platform pinning like crazy, as well as the other generations from Gen X to boomers and beyond. One really awesome metric is that 96% of all searches are actually unbranded. Now, why do I bring this up? It's because Pinterest is primarily a search engine, and this unbranded search capability gives you so much leverage over your competition, meaning that they're not going there searching for Nike shoes, they're going there searching for leather white shoes. In cases of small businesses, like organic bamboo wicked soy candles instead of Sprouts candles. One of the little fun facts about Pinterest that I actually adore the most is that most Pinterest users are actually the decision maker in the household, meaning that once you get the decision maker, you get the whole family. Now, the average yearly income of a Pinterest user still comes in at one of the highest of all social media platforms, around $100,000 a year, which is really decent, especially in the US. Now, you're going to hear me talk a little bit about Pinterest trends later in the video, but you should know before we get that far that Pinterest has accurately predicted 80% of all trending topics in 2024, with those searches continuing to grow and trends lasting 2 times longer on Pinterest than on other platforms. Pinterest is the place where trends are lasting and actually end up becoming more evergreen content, and they are not a drop in the bucket like what happens on Instagram or TikTok, for example. Thing number 2 really isn't all that different from last year's thing number 2 in that you really need to understand who your ideal customer or client is on Pinterest before you get started. Otherwise, you're going to waste a whole bunch of time. Your messaging might likely be off, and then you're going to have to either restart or you're going to throw it all away, and you're never actually going to see any benefit from it. So there are a few tactics that you can use that I'm going to share with you, and I have resources and examples that I will link as well. But number 1 is to just use some basic keyword research and figure out exactly what your person is searching for on Pinterest and how they're searching for it. Now, whether you're using some Google keywords to get you started and seed some ideas into Pinterest to figure out how people are looking for your thing, or you're going to the Pinterest Trends tool, it really doesn't matter to me. However, what I would suggest doing is actually starting with the search bar and searching for your topic, and then taking that topic, once you identify what it is, and plugging it into the Pinterest Trends tool and verifying whether it is indeed a trend. And if it is a trend, what time of year is it a trend? When should you be starting promoting with that keyword? It's usually about 90 days in advance. And then what other related searches come up that the Trends tool is giving you to your initial seed search. Now, tactic number 2 is really you identifying what your customers and community are asking you the most. So I run my community through this exercise quite often. Inside of Pin Profit Academy, I ask people all the time when they're like, I don't know how to find keywords for my audience. What are your customers asking you the most? And if you don't have customers yet, but you have product to sell or you have content you want to get in front of people, then what are those people asking Google? Go use those Google people also ask questions and start to see what search terms come up related to those things. Another thing that you can do is literally write down your most popular content or all of your content topics and pillars, your keywords that are coming from Google. Again, this is a really great starting point to seed your keywords to Pinterest. Or what products and services do you sell directly? It's oftentimes the most obvious thing that is the starting point for your Pinterest keywords. For example, my keywords on Pinterest are, at least my pillars, are Pinterest organic marketing, Pinterest paid or promoted pins marketing, graphic design for Pinterest, and schedulers for Pinterest. Those are my pillars, and that gives me an umbrella for each of those pillars to start my keyword research. Now, I did a full Pinterest SEO masterclass in 2024 that is still very accurate, that you can actually go watch and learn exactly how to do Pinterest SEO on this platform. Now, quick timeout. If this has been helpful for you at all, would you mind giving the video a like? Because it helps to get in front of more business owners just like you who are looking for this exact same content. Thank you. Now, thing number 3 that you need to know is how to set yourself up for a successful Pinterest marketing strategy. Now, there are a few different things that go along with a successful, well-organized, strategic Pinterest strategy, and number 1 is an optimized profile, which we're actually going to dig into more at the end of this list, but I'm going to start off by naming that thing first. So we're going to come back to that, but an optimized profile. Number 2 is an image strategy, and this isn't just like, oh, let's make pins from the templates that are free in Canva and hope for the best. No, it's so much more than that, okay? So you want to make pins for every phase of the customer journey, depending on what kind of business you're in. If you're a curator on Pinterest, this probably doesn't matter to you. A curator is just someone who curates different boards and things like that. This isn't for you. These are for businesses that are like e-com or agencies or coaches, bloggers, things like that. People with something to sell, generally, whether it's information or product. So you want to create pins for your ideal audience depending on where they're at in their customer journey. So before they know you, they are looking for things in the awareness phase. They are looking for things like decorating inspiration for modern furniture, modern homes. Now, if you want some insights into how Pinterest actually views this, I would actually encourage you to head over to the Creative Strategy on Pinterest profile, because they have boards showcasing content from all phases of the customer journey, as well as just really well done content from brands and collaborators that they're working with. So as you can see here in the awareness screenshot, this photo is really aspirational. It's trying to attract people in different phases of their search, where they might have put in a term, or they might just be scrolling in their home feed or related feeds, and they see content related to their dogs or their carpets or decorating or furniture, fashion, beauty, whatever. These photos are very awareness driven. There's really hardly any calls to action to them. They give people insight into what's possible, but they're not giving a solution right away. Now, the next phase is consideration. This is honestly where a lot of people are going to be creating Pinterest pins within this bucket, and the purchase bucket, we'll get to that one in a second. But this is like the spritz cocktail of summer, or 2-ingredient cocktails. Easy cocktail recipes. These are things like what you are going to be making on Pinterest. And lastly are action type Pinterest pins, which is what Pinterest is calling them now, but these are purchase. This is bottom of the funnel. So whether we're wanting them to actually buy something, download something, consume something, they're taking an action, right? So these pins are very much like bottom of the funnel. We want them to take action. This is where you're going to notice a lot of hard calls to actions, like add to cart, buy now, shop now, read more, learn more, things like that. For more information on how you can make various Pinterest pin types for your Pinterest marketing strategy, including 3 pins you might not have thought of, watch this video here for more info on that. Now, there is a second part to your Pinterest image strategy, which is the different pin formats that you should be thinking about and considering. So let's actually talk about those now. Taking a look at the image on the screen, you'll see Pinterest pin types. Now, Pinterest pins are the content that make up Pinterest. Pinterest pin formats are the makeup of the pin itself. So we have image pins, which are just a static image, and those may or may not contain text overlay. We also have video pins, which are videos, and those usually consist of what we commonly know as like Instagram Reel style content. These don't have to be made from Instagram Reels, by the way. These could be videos that you create natively right on Pinterest inside of their app, or that you maybe make on your computer and then you export and put onto Pinterest. Then we have a product pin, which is the commerce of all of it, right? This is where things are pinned to Pinterest from your shop. People can click on those pins, go directly to the shopping cart or to the product listing and buy that item. And then lastly, we have collage pins, which are new as of 2024. And these are just bringing all sorts of different formats to life. You can actually do video collage pins. You could do static collage pins. You could do collections, gift guides, roundups, mood board. There are so many different things that you could do with collage pins. And because the adoption rate of them has been fairly fast for Gen Z, but not as fast with other age groups, there's still so much opportunity and creativity that you could put into this particular pin type. Let's talk in depth about the pin formats. So pin formats are either videos, images, or a mix of both. They could be collages, or they could simply just be videos that you repurpose or images that you create right inside of Canva. Honestly, whatever you're doing in your image strategy right now is probably great. You probably just need to mix in different pin formats as well as different like creative types, so videos or collages or static. Within pin formats, you can also use things on Pinterest to enhance the usability and the user experience of your pins. Most of these things are really only available on mobile. However, if you use stickers, so if you tag a product inside of your pin using a sticker and make it shoppable, that makes that pin even more user-friendly from an e-commerce standpoint. If you use a sticker to tag an affiliate product, the same thing can occur. You can also add music, you can add animations, and you can do text overlay or a voiceover inside of the pin creation app on the mobile device of your choice. Not iPads, I don't think, okay? Don't hold me to that, but I don't use an iPad ever to create on Pinterest. I either use my phone or I use my desktop computer. The different pin formats can really take shape in so many different ways. So you can showcase Pinterest pins in the format of tutorials, or you can make a showcase of products. You can do something comparing one thing to another. A comparison style video where maybe you're reviewing two products and you choose a winner. The pins and how they take shape are really ultimately up to you. The formats right now are very simple. It's either image, video, or collage. Let's actually talk briefly about collage pins in a little bit more depth. That way you get to understand what they are, because this is one thing I haven't really talked about a ton on this channel just yet, but we'll have a video on these coming in 2025. Collage pins used to be something that you would see like this pin here, where it is, you know, different outfits on an image pin, and then you download that from Canva or whatever other design tool you use, Figma, Photoshop, whatever. And then you would upload that to Pinterest and you would link it to a blog post. Well, now you can actually create that same collage pin right inside the mobile app by pinning all your products to Pinterest first as product pins, whether those are affiliate links or products you sell. And then you bring all of those together inside of the collage creation tool, and you actually create a collage pin that looks exactly the same, except each of the items in the collage pin are then individual product pins that are all tied to that one collage pin. It's actually really very neat. It's the old school image pin that had products tagged in it, and those products would be like live next to the pin or beside it. These are more interactive. These are fun. These bring user experience to a whole new level. Now, something else that you can do with these collage pins once you publish them to your profile is you can actually go back and edit it and add that blog link where you talk about maybe all of the products that were in the actual collage pin itself. You can link that directly to your website. It is not an option when you create the collage pin right away, but you know, go play around with them and see how you like them. Now that we've talked in depth about image strategy and pin formats and pin types, let's actually talk about your scheduling workflow, which is the next most important thing in your Pinterest marketing strategy. Now, the key to doing this part quickly, because this is the part that takes most people a lot of time, is to have everything ready in advance. And I mean everything, from the titles that you're going to put on your Pinterest pins, to the description that you write, to the alt text that you're going to include, to the URL where you're going to link this thing, and the image is created. In fact, here's a screenshot of what a sample pin plan would actually look like when you are ready to publish all of your images. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. As a Pinterest manager, and as someone who's been doing Pinterest management for clients since 2017, I would suggest that you create your content on Pinterest in stages. So stage number 1 is the month before the pins are going to go live. You're creating your pin plan for that following month. So right now it's December. I'm creating content already for January. Once you have your plan ready, then you're going to create all your pin copy. That's step number 2. Once your pin copy is all ready, then you're going to design your images or videos. And then once everything is ready, from all of the copy to all of the imagery, you are then going to schedule all of that content to Pinterest using your favorite scheduling tool. Now, speaking of scheduling tools, Tailwind actually just released a free alt text generator. So if you are wanting to include alt text on your Pinterest pins for accessibility in 2025, Tailwind has actually released a feature, and it is so nifty. You literally upload your image to their tool and it spits out a generated alt text for you based on what's in the graphic or the video. I love it. It's so time saving. I just wish I could bulk upload to the tool. Maybe that will come later, but for now, it's fast, it's efficient, and I really enjoy using it. As an alternative to a social media scheduling tool like Tailwind, Planoly, Buffer, etc., Pinterest does offer a couple of native scheduling options right inside of their platform. You can use their Create Pin tool, which is just you go to Pinterest and you click Create Pin. You can upload all your content into that window and either publish it now or save it for later, or schedule it for later, that's what I meant. Or you can use their bulk upload tool as well. Now I have videos on all of these things, so I'm gonna link up a playlist for Pinterest scheduling tools that you can actually watch, including the bulk upload with a CSV file video. Okay, so the next thing that we need to talk about in your Pinterest marketing strategy is your keyword strategy itself. Now I have touched on keywords already. I have touched on them briefly, but I cannot explain to you how important this piece is. You want to use your keywords in all the right places, including your title, your text overlay, your description, your board title, your board description, at a minimum. Now, finding keywords on Pinterest can take place in 3 ways, so let's actually just briefly cover those. The first way is using the search bar. You simply go to the search bar and you type your search term in and you see what else comes up, including the search term that you used. Now there may be further tools available within the search bar, like related search terms and the little bubbles at the top that can aid you in finding additional search terms for your topic. Now, the second way you can find keywords on Pinterest is the trends tool. This is actually my favorite way. It has, in 2024, become my favorite way to find keywords on Pinterest, simply because of how easy it is to do that in bulk and make big lists all in one go. You actually have 2 options in the trends tool. You have a search bar up at the top that you can search in, just like the search bar in your just home feed on Pinterest. And then you also have some filters down in the middle of the screen on the left, where you can filter top yearly, top monthly, growing, and seasonal trends. Then you can filter out by interest specifically, as well as search term and demographics for those search terms. This is going to give you topics that are trends on Pinterest, meaning these are highly searched things on the platform, and they generally will ebb and flow in popularity throughout the year. They also just might be evergreen, and I have a rule of thumb that if it, on the graph, if you're looking, it says 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. If the interest is 20 or above, I actually personally consider that an evergreen search term. So I'm using those keywords all year long. I'm not just reserving them for when the line is going up. Now, of course, the keyword strategy is so important, and I have an entire playlist of videos as well as my Pinterest SEO masterclass right here on YouTube for free. So if you want to watch more and learn more in depth about Pinterest SEO, be sure to check out some of these videos and allow them to help you along in your journey. The last piece of your Pinterest strategy is obviously your analytics. I'm a data and analytics nerd. I want to know exactly what is working and what is not working. I want to know when things are coming up and when things are going down. Pretty much if there's data along with it, I want to know about it. And Pinterest is one of the very few platforms that gives you the amount of data and insights that they give you for free. Whether that's information about your pinners and your audience, or information about the Pinterest audience as a whole, or information about Pinterest trends so you can aid in your own business's content planning for the year. Now, obviously, there's too much to talk about when it comes to analytics for Pinterest. So this is a bookmark in the journey of all the things that are important to your Pinterest marketing strategy. If you want to know more about Pinterest analytics, specifically how to use them, how to read them, a deep dive into Pinterest analytics if your analytics are down and you're just like panicking right now, of course I have an entire playlist on this. Go watch some of these videos and learn more about your Pinterest analytics in depth. Now, I will say there are a couple of things that you need to pay attention to in your Pinterest analytics going into 2025. Number 1, followers are not as important, and it's not even a metric you can track inside your Pinterest analytics. So it's okay, don't focus on those. The things I want you to focus on the most are your impressions, your saves, your likes, which you actually can't track inside of your analytics dashboard. I wish you could, and your outbound clicks. Those are the 4 things that I really want you to pay attention to inside of your analytics. Now, I'm going to leave you there with analytics, and we are going to move on to optimizing your profile fully, because I really want to hammer this part home. So your display name, your bio, and your boards are the searchable items on your profile as a whole. Okay? Aside from the pins that you put on your profile, your display name, your bio, and your boards all need to be optimized using Pinterest SEO search terms. Now your display name, if you can see my profile here, can include phrases aside from just your name. So you can see mine has some search-friendly terms in it that will come up when people are searching for those things. What I would encourage you to do is actually include your main keyword that you want to be known for and found for on Pinterest, at least in your display name. Now your bio does help your profile come up in search. You get 500 characters, and I would encourage you to use them all. Now your bio should not include hashtags or links or anything that are not clickable. So don't put any of that stuff in there. That's why you have a link in your profile. It's why you have search terms in your profile. So your bio is 500 characters. I want you to focus on telling your audience on Pinterest how you help them and in what way you help them and who you are in relation to that thing, okay? I don't want you to start off by saying, I'm a mommy blogger located in California. No one cares about you. They care about what you offer and how you're going to help them. So I want your bio to really speak to that using keywords. You get 500 characters. Try to use at least 5 keywords there. Now let's move on just briefly to making sure that your website is claimed. You will know your website is claimed in one of like 3 ways. Number 1, very few people have a red check mark, but if you have a red check mark, your website is claimed. More people have a blue check mark, and those people are verified merchants on the platform. If you have a blue check mark, your website is claimed. Last but certainly not least, if you have a little black world icon with a check mark next to it, then your website is claimed. Your website being claimed is so important to the overall optimization of your profile because it is what shows right there on your profile, and you want that to be claimed. Pinterest only likes to show content from trusted domains and sources. Claiming your website helps to build that trust for you. Now, the next couple of areas that I want to talk about before I harp on Pinterest boards. Your banner is a road sign, like a billboard on the side of the interstate going down I-70 in Colorado, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. It's probably because you don't live in America, in the US, where you have obsessive advertising on the side of every single road. But for us US American citizens, we have billboards alongside every major interstate. Those billboards are quickly going to give you a message and try to attract your attention. That this is what your entire profile banner should do. It should not just be a pretty image. Just because Pinterest creative strategy profile is putting a pretty image of pins over there does not mean you should. Especially small businesses, we have very, very little time to actually catch the attention of our viewers. So we really should be using that time to do just that and tell them exactly who we are, how we help them, and in what way we help them. Your banner, if it looks similar to mine, is going to be a really great place for you to do that on your profile as a whole. Now the next thing is completely optional on optimizing your profile, but I promise you it helps with user experience. And these are board covers, and these are the little square images on my profile that have like 2 words, and they have like a rusty orange background. Board covers are, again, not required, but they do help with that user experience, and they make your profile super skimmable so people can see what content you are curating, what products you are selling at a really fast glance. All right, it's time for me to harp on those Pinterest boards just briefly before we move on to product pins. So your boards are the file folders of all your content on Pinterest, okay? Your Pinterest pins are the content that make up Pinterest, and your Pinterest boards are the folders that those pieces of content are filed within. Your Pinterest boards should be SEO friendly. They should not contain brand names for you, because chances are, remember back when I said 96% of all searches are unbranded, chances are people don't know who you are. They probably know what your product is, what your service is, what you're offering. And that's the first thing that should at least be at the very front of your board name. Now, if you're insistent on having your brand name in the board, stick it on the end, but I can tell you from sitting in Pinterest meetings all this year, even Pinterest says that you don't need extra characters, weird like symbols and brand names inside of your board names themselves. Okay, not even hashtags. All right, not even hashtags. Now, that's your board title. Let's move on to the board description. You get 500 characters for your board description. You really want to make sure the space is organized and optimized based on the topic. So if your topic is black leather pants, your search terms that were housed inside of that Pinterest board description should be about fashion. It should be about black leather pants. It should be about leather care. It should be about styling, packing, whatever it is that you need people to know about your black leather pants and how they're going to find those black leather pants on Pinterest. That's how you should frame your Pinterest board description. Nothing is clickable in this description area, so you should not put hashtags or even links in this space. Now, let's talk briefly about group board descriptions. If you are using group boards, the description should be used the same exact way as a standard board description, meaning that you are not putting your rules, you're not putting links to forms or anything like that in the actual description of the board. You are simply just telling people on Pinterest and Pinterest what they need to know about that board and the content on that board. Now let's talk about pinning your catalog, because in 2023 to 2024, somewhere in that time frame, we lost the shop tab on Pinterest profiles, meaning that your products that you sell are no longer housed on your profile in a really easy to find manner. So you actually need to pin your products to your profile, and this is actually part of optimizing your profile as a whole and making sure that your business shows up in a really meaningful manner to your audience on Pinterest. Now, when you ingest your catalog to Pinterest, your products will then be placed in the shop in the product tabs over in the search. So when people are searching for products, they will be placed in those search surfaces. However, they are not just placed on your profile. You actually have to pin them. So this is where I'm telling you, as part of optimizing your profile, make sure you're adding boards for your products and make sure you're adding those product pins to those boards. When you are creating a pinning strategy for your business, you are probably thinking to yourself, how many times a day do I need to pin? Honestly. This is probably one of the most asked questions that I get in my business. Whether it's from clients, pre-clients, post-clients, clients I've offboarded that are doing their own strategies now, or just from people on the internet that are doing Pinterest strategy and now they're like, oh, well, how many times do I need to pin? Okay, I get this on all the podcasts that I've guested on and more. So let's talk about it. I would prefer you share one highly curated piece of content per day than 15. If you cannot manage to create 15 pins a day, then don't do it. Start with one and build up. I actually opt for 3 pins per day for most of our clients in our client roster. This is hard to do. I will say it is a lot of work to plan for, create copy for, and then create imagery for 3 pins per day, but it is possible. And you can do it with a little bit of intention and a whole lot of strategy. Now, with the rise of AI and bulk creation tools, you can definitely get yourself like 70% of the way. And then the other 30% you will need to intentionally tweak the images, tweak the designs, tweak the copy, and make the pins so much more high quality than what comes out of these AI tools. But again, it is possible to make a higher volume of really, really good quality pins with the help of some other tools. The key is just sharing consistently and not haphazardly. Okay, so let's actually talk about a few updates to the Pinterest platform and to your Pinterest strategy going into 2025. Number 1 being a new tool within the Trends tool. This is actually a predict the future filter, which is actually really nifty, and honestly, I wish I would have had it a lot sooner. Basically, it gives you the option with certain trends on the platform to click a button on and off and see the rise or the fall of that particular trend going into the future. Number 2, what's new? Keywords. Honestly, it's not new for me, but it might be new for you, because have you been using keywords? I mean, honestly, have you? Because I do a lot of audits, and people tell me that they're using keywords and they're really not. So I put it on the list. Pinterest keywords for 2025. It might be new to you, but it's not new to all of us. Add it to your list. Number 3 are collage pins. We talked briefly about collage pins, actually. I showed you what they looked like previously. I showed you what this new collage pin format looks like now. This is actually what a collage pin looks like that I created about business books. My paid membership members were asking what books I would recommend. I ended up turning it into a blog post, and then I turned it into a collage pin. I remember shuffles, and it was extremely hard to get codes. However, here we are all these years later, and collage pins are just a native part of your Pinterest app. The next thing that is new to Pinterest going into 2025, it was new in 2024, are simplified pin formats. Now, many of you will still ask me, still be wondering to yourself, why do I still see idea pins as an option to create in my Pinterest profile? Well, friends, it's there because it's there, and I don't have an answer for you. I've asked, and I have asked, and I have asked, like, can we just take this away? And they never give me an answer, and honestly, I don't work for them. I am not an employee, and I'm not a developer, so I don't have an answer for you. However, a simplified pin format means they just took all of the best features of all the pin formats, so image pins, video pins, idea pins. They merged it all into one builder. That's really what it means. Okay, so you can create a mix of content if you want. You can create image pins, you can create animated pins, you can use video, you can make collages with static images and videos if you want. Honestly, it's just all one pin type now. That's really what it is. We just have pins on Pinterest, and that's really what the simplified pin format comes down to. Last but certainly not least is the most exciting update of 2024. Going into 2025, and you may not have heard about it yet still, and that's the Instagram claim tool. Now, I did a video on this in 2024 explaining the various uses of this feature, how you might think about using it, best practices around using it. I actually even created a guide for Pinterest on this exact tool. I would encourage you go watch that video. I will make sure to link it somewhere around here. But the Instagram claim tool allows you to claim your Instagram account. That way, when you share content from Instagram or someone else shares content from Instagram to their Pinterest profiles, all of that information in the form of data, remember the data and analytics, shows up in your analytics overview screen, but you also get credit for that content, and it is like marked as you. Your profile is tied to it, which is all exciting. However, the most exciting feature of all with the Instagram claim tool is the auto import feature, allowing you to auto import your content from Instagram to your Pinterest profile. And it gets better. You can actually change the links on those pins once they hit Pinterest to then link back to your website, your web store, wherever you want them to go, your email list opt-in. And now your Instagram content, which was really siloed to Instagram, has become Pinterest content, which can drive major traffic to your website. Unironically, I also have a blog post on this exact integration and how to use it, so I will try to remember to link it in the description down below. Those are all of the new things to Pinterest at the end of 2024 going into 2025. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about with changes and updates going into 2025 for Pinterest strategy is boards and sections. So obviously we have known about Pinterest boards for a long time because that's where we store our content. However, sections seem to be getting a renewed focus going into this new year. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, I did a whole YouTube video on this, so if you do want to know more, you can go watch it. But what I mean is that Pinterest has further clarified that sections on Pinterest boards are searchable. If someone searches for a term and it is the name of your section, that board is also likely to come up in the search results, or the content in that section is likely to come up in the search results. There's all kinds of misinformation at this point on the internet about board sections that is just out of date. It has become misinformation because Pinterest has clarified this. Even me, myself, and I, once upon a time used to say you don't need to use sections, you can just create boards. Watch the full video on Pinterest sections if you want to know more, but just know going into 2025, sections could be a great way for you to optimize your board for search, but also organize your content for a better user experience. Our renewed focus for our Pinterest strategies going into 2025 is truly going to default back to what we once knew to be true. Number one is consistent pinning. Number two is high quality content, whether that is image content, video content, whether it's videos on YouTube you're directing to, podcast episodes, or YouTube videos. People are craving more than 60-second snippets that give them all the information that they could possibly want or need in that 60 seconds. It's just not feasible. People are craving more. You're going to do all of this by following those trending topics, looking for evergreen search terms, and using a well-defined keyword strategy on Pinterest. This platform is truly a beast when it comes to evergreen content. So if you do have stuff on your website that has been relevant for you for years, that continues to be relevant for you in the years to come, Pinterest really is a shining beacon on the hill when it comes to surfacing, showcasing, and directing traffic to that older content in your business, that evergreen, long-term, sustainable content. To make the most out of Pinterest in 2025 and beyond, I would like to encourage you, please, 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 use the new features when they come out. Give them a test. Try them out. You never know what's going to happen. Use the Pinterest Predicts, use the Pinterest Trends tool, use the keywords that you know your brand should be ranking for consistently. Show up on the platform consistently by creating pins and scheduling them in advance. Try things out on the app, and just be a user of the platform. That way you know exactly how your pinners are engaging on the platform as well. Again, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. You should be focused on impressions, saves, and outbound clicks first and foremost, because that information is going to give you the kind of arm you with what you need in order to continue to make good decisions in your business. Now, being successful on Pinterest isn't just about creating pins for your brand or for your content, because it's another platform that you need to be on. Pinning every day also isn't going to help you to go viral or, make it big. Pinning consistent, high quality content, creating imagery, and getting it on the platform, that is what's going to, over the long term, help you to see the success that you need to see in order to justify another platform in your business. Now, what would it mean to you if you could speed up the results in your marketing strategy by 3, 6, 9, even 12 months? I say that because I know a lot of you keep putting platforms off, or keep putting strategies off, or keep backburnering things because, I don't have time. But what if you made time and you were able to speed that process up by 3, 6, 9, or even 12 months? What would it mean to have hundreds of outbound clicks to your website every single month? What would it mean to start getting consistent sales in your web store every single month? Would it be helpful for you to have access to community of like-minded people that are also doing the Pinterest marketing strategy for their businesses, to have one-on-one support from me, Heather, the 9-year veteran of Pinterest marketing strategy and vetted Pinterest expert? What would it mean for you to get hot seat calls to dig into your sticking points when it comes to your Pinterest strategy? What about up-to-date training materials and no BS fluff to go along with it? We offer all of that and more, including deep dives and monthly guest expert sessions inside of Pin Profit Academy. You get things like how to use Pinterest for brand partnerships, Pinterest for affiliate marketing, blogging strategy, content strategy, sales psych, Facebook ads, you name it. If it would be worth it to you to have access to a vetted Pinterest educator and expert like myself, I would like to invite you to join Pin Profit Academy. Thank you so much for watching this video in full. If you've gotten to this point, this is where I'm inviting you to join Pin Profit Academy for as little as $37 a month. This membership is turning 4 in 2025, and we've had nearly 1,000 people through the doors in that short amount of time. You could be the next, and I hope to see you inside.